Hey, how's everybody doing? I've got another game on Wasteland for you. I'm using the AUG bar. I'm just kind of putting this game up because I know I haven't in the past 2 days or so. I think I go 32-6. It's not an amazing score. Yeah, it's a good score, but there's a few things in here that I think are pretty cool, and maybe we can learn something from. Let's see. So, for some reason, I'm using claymores. I think I just realized that I was halfway through the beginning of the match. I can hear a lot of activity going on, and usually when you hear activity going on, you want to look at your radar and you want to look for your teammates on the radar. And by the process of deduction, if you don't see any green arrows and you do hear sound, we can assume that it's the enemy. And that's something I wanted to mention very early on in this project. Excuse me, I just ate a bunch of food. Um, Infinity Ward put just as much effort into the sound as they did the graphics and the gameplay. And the sound can be a resource that you can utilize and can help you triangulate and help you locate the enemy team and thus give you an upper hand. Again, if you don't have a headset, I advise getting one. They definitely help your overall gameplay. You will be able to see tangible results. Your KD will go up, and you'll just be an overall better player and a more serious player. Did you see that? I knew I was gonna die, so I just started plopping claymores all over the place. I like how in this game when you die, and for those of you who don't know this, when you die in this game with a claymore up, your claymore sticks around for I think 3 seconds. And also, if you die as you're putting a claymore down, the claymore will bounce around and then stick itself down somewhere. So it is possible to get an after-death kill with the claymore, a moment or two after you've died. So right here, I see a sniper, and again, you guys should check out my anti-sniper tactics with the RPD video on this map. I'm starting to use light machine guns on this map because I think I don't know, I'm just really digging them right now. I also advise using these turrets. I mean, these things are unbelievably powerful. The range on them and the speed and the lack of recoil gives you, or I should say helps to give you, complete map control. And here I just kind of just lay on the ground, and I know it's a little bit difficult for him to see me with that tree next to me. So right now I understand that they're all spawning in the tunnel, but I'm just hoping that they're gonna come out to either protect B or try and flank around C. And right here I'm communicating with my team. Right now I'm 8-5, and I die one more time, but I get like 25 more kills. So I guess now it starts to pick up. So I see him here kind of flanking around. This is a great spot. This is a great spot to cover the C flank because you're protected, but you also have concealment from the brush. And that's something I kind of addressed in my other video. But the credit does go to Woody's Gamertag. He kind of coined that term, I guess. They're kind of spawning over by the shed, and for those of you who don't know, if you're next to a spawn point, and in this case they're kind of forced to spawn there because of their flag, usually if they have one flag, they're gonna have to spawn there. As long as you don't see them, in other words, if you're ducking down on the ground and you don't have line of sight on their spawn, they will continue to spawn. Right now, I'm just kind of bouncing around, and that's something I would also advise you to do. Don't stand still for 2 reasons. 1, you get lazy, your fingers get lazy, and 2, you're a much easier target. So when you're just scanning the area, just kind of bounce around, look for movement, and just kind of, it's a good way to stay on your toes. So right now, I just hear they have an enemy UAV. I hop on the turret. I wanted to see if I can get the enemy UAV with the turret. you can't. And it makes me wonder. I wonder if you can get an AC-130 with the turret, because you know, the AC-130 floats a little bit lower on the horizon. If any of you guys know that, let me know. So I've been thinking about doing a new playlist, and I'm not sure if I want to do a secondary weapon playlist, where I just basically run through the map with a secondary weapon and just kind of go through all of them. I think there's maybe 12, 13, maybe 15 secondary weapons. And what I'll do is kind of review them. I'll talk about their effectiveness and their pros and cons, what they're good for, what they're bad for. Because I know with me, you know, sometimes I'm not sure what secondary weapon to use. And also, I think the map kind of dictates what kind of secondary weapon you should pick. And even more so, your team, you know, depending on how they're playing, what they're running, you know, what kind of kit they're running with. If they're using stingers, you know, obviously you don't have to. I feel if you have one or two dudes running stingers that know what they're doing, you know, you don't need to waste your secondary slot. So let me know if you guys want me to do that. I know it hasn't been done really on YouTube. You know, just an exclusively secondary weapon playlist. I think that'd be kind of fun. It'd give me something to do as well. And for those of you who are having a hard time, you know, with your KD or with whatever, I advise playing Domination, because, you know, the spawns are predictable. And at first I was really intimidated to play this because, you know, it has an objective and it's not time based. I you know, watching YouTube, I've noticed that all the really experienced players play Domination, but, you know, people, all kinds of different people play Domination, and I would advise doing it. I think it's a very, very fun match, or fun game type. I'm sorry. There's one more thing I want to cover. A lot of people, myself included, have been complaining about, you know, bad players in the lobby or good players in the lobby. And the fact of the matter is, you know, you don't want to lobby with all good players, and you don't want to lobby with all bad players, because, you know, it goes both ways. You want a handful of bad players on the other team, and you want a handful of good players on your team. But like most things in life, the extremes, you know, the absolute, is something that cannot benefit you. For example, if your team is filled with amazing players, that gives you less room to perform. On the other hand, if, you know, obviously if the other team is filled with amazing players, you know, you won't be given a chance to perform, you know, playing against really good players. But at the same time, if you're playing against all noobs, you know, that's great. But you have to understand that if you're playing in a lobby with all noobs, most likely the next game you have, those noobs are going to be on your team, and it goes vice versa with the good players as well. So, and, you know, I don't really use the AC-130 at all, just to jump in real quick. But I think it's kick-ass, especially on this map. I think I got 3 triple kills, maybe 2. But I don't know about you, but for me, it always seems that whenever I get like a chopper gunner or an AC-130, I get shot down fairly quickly. I was surprised. I don't know what this guy's doing. He's might have a date or something. He's obviously in a hurry. I think I get this guy. Yeah, I do. Wake up, right? So yeah. So I guess my point was, you know, in this game, you got to take the good with the bad. And I also wanted to do a talk about KD deviation and the difference between COD 4 and Modern Warfare 2 as far as matchmaking goes. What Infinity Ward wanted to do was minimize the kill spread deviation, and maybe I'll just get into it in another video. It's a little bit complicated. I mean, it's not, but it can be. But it's something that that plays a part into what I just talked about as far as good players and bad players. And again, I think the more knowledge you have about stuff like this, the better you can play, because as always, the more intel you have, the more knowledge you have, the better you're able to adapt to the game, and the better you're able to perform, and thus become a more effective player and become a better teammate, and ultimately have a higher KD. And I feel like that's what the majority of us are going for. I mean, we also got to remember the reason we picked this game up is because it's fun. I remember standing in line at midnight. I was the first in line. They actually kicked me. They told me to go back home and come back later. Anyway, my name is Mission Creep. I really appreciate you guys rating, commenting, and subscribing. It means a lot to me. Take it easy, guys.